Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round number 5 of Pro Play Tour Las Vegas. I'm Alex Simo, joined by Mr. Joseph Rothschild, and we have, I'd say we're going to deviate a little bit. We're going to go back to meta, but there's a reason I want to go back to meta, because these two players are very good.
Heavy
very,
hitters,
very
for
good.
sure.
Yes, for sure. So we have Oscar Velez, probably arguably one of the best players in Las Vegas, for those of you who don't live here or know the area.
You're selling yourself short.
Not even. So he's just very good. He pretty much only goes to like YCSs now and competes, and he usually day twos, if not tops them. So just very, very skilled player. And then Ramiro Garcia came all
I
the
hear
way
he's
here.
okay too.
Yeah, I hear winning 2 YCSs back to back is fine. Yeah.
And thankfully, they're playing decks that, while they're certainly popular and metagame relevant, we haven't had a chance to take a look at today.
No, we have Salamangreat being played by Oscar, which Salamangreat is still one of the best decks of the format, but I thought we'd show Salamangreat some love since it's, round 5. We're going to start getting to these decks at some point. But then we have Sky Striker Orcust on Ramirez. No Lunalight Orcust, his, bread and butter, but Sky Striker Orcust, I personally think is the best deck of the format. But
I would not argue with you.
Yeah, it is incredibly powerful. I don't want to have you guys waiting any longer. Let's just go ahead and get right into this, because this is going to be a good one. Nice friendly little handshake there. 40 minutes on the clock, and here we go. I do not know who won the die roll.
It was Oscar.
Okay.
So he's going to go ahead and lead with a copy of, a Bufferlo.
Flame Bufferlo. That's a pretty good start. Going to link that off into a Balinx.
And then, of course, Chain 1, Chain 2 to block for Ash Blossom.
Absolutely. So we're going to get that Sanctuary.
And then draw a couple of cards in the process as well.
Oscar also plays rather quickly as well.
No, you have to in this format.
Yeah.
When you have a gummy deck like Salamangreat playing a gummy deck like Sky Striker Orcust, you don't have very many opportunities to avoid going into time.
So we're going to pitch the Falco, draw 2. Salamangreat actually won the Las Vegas Regional yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
So, a deck that a lot of people just claim hard loses to Nibiru in some instances.
Hey, by the way, this card, very good.
Yes.
Salamangreat Circle seems to always be in my opponent's opener. Oscar is channeling that energy as well.
So we're going to go ahead and use that circle. We're probably going to grab whatever missing combo piece at this point, which looks like it's going to be Gazelle in this instance.
And from here, you can basically do whatever you want.
Yep, so we're going to pitch Spinny. That's going to trigger the Gazelle. Then we can go ahead and dump with Gazelle, resurrect the Spinny, go to Mirage Stallion, and essentially assemble full combo. Now, the interesting thing is I think Oscar already has the Roar. So he's going to go ahead and send Jack Jaguar with
not looking to get ashed on Mirage Stallion. I really like this play.
So now here comes the Spinny.
There's just so many things that can interrupt your combo at that particular point. Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Infinite Impermanence, and this is a pretty easy way to make sure everything resolves. You can see there's a Rage already in the hand, and looks like that play paid off.
Yes, so we see here that the Ash was met on the Mirage Stallion, but it's not going to matter because the Jack Jaguar is already engraved. He doesn't get to use it as material, but he does essentially still get to do his full combo.
Yep.
He also has Rage in his hand, which Rage, very good Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Rage is a very good Yu-Gi-Oh card. People whine about Roar all the time because negates seem to get 0 love. But the card that I hate in this deck is Rage. It's just an unbelievably powerful option, though its use is very severely mitigated against a deck that doesn't care about being in the graveyard.
So Jack Jaguar is going to resummon itself to the arrow that Sunlight Wolf points to. That's going to trigger the Sunlight Wolf to go ahead and get Gazelle back into the hand. We're going to see a reincarnation of that Sunlight Wolf now. He's able to get the Circle back that he used earlier, and he's going to have Circle Rage in hand, which seems pretty good.
So you've got Circle, you've got Rage, and you've got a backup copy of Gazelle as well. He passes it back to Ramiro and says, what are you going to do about this with your 5-card hand?
Now, Ramiro just going to take some time to consider his options here. Remember, this is a 2-time YCS champion, almost 3.
And now we see why. You open the engage. Oscar says, fine, yes, of course. I came here to play against this deck, and I'm sure I'm going to have to.
Yes, so now here comes Drones. I'm really hoping this match is going to really demonstrate the power that Sky Striker Orcust has, because this deck can do a lot.
So the Drones token is a card that's individually vulnerable to Salamangreat Rage. Having said that, I don't think Oscar is likely to use it, instead waiting until Ramiro commits multiple cards to the board.
So here comes the Kagari. This is going to be interesting here. I'm not sure what he's going to add back because it could depend on what else is in his hand. If he doesn't have a way to trigger engage for 3, he might not get it. He might maybe want to get Drones just to have a link 2 to start picking apart the board. Engage could also get something like Shark Cannon. Oh, but here comes Phantasme for the Kagari as well.
And no matter what he gets, it's now going to have to contend with this.
Right.
What I hate about Salamangreat specifically is summoning Phantasme to the link point enabled by Sunlight Wolf. Once you move it to the other extra monster zone, means you can add an additional Salamangreat from your graveyard back into your hand.
I love that interaction so much. It's so
I
powerful.
Don't.
So now we're going to see what's next. Here comes Armageddon Knight. So open engage Armageddon Knight seems pretty good if you're Ramiro.
That's the power of a YCS champion.
So you're going to go ahead and send that Harp Horror. So now the combo is technically online.
But this is what Oscar wants to see. A couple of juicy targets that are going to turn off the Orcust half of the deck should he flip a Rage.
So now we're going to link off here. I think we're going to possibly make a Phoenix.
Phoenix isn't fantastic against a board that has Phantasme on it.
But it is nice
against a draw card, it's quite good.
I was about to say, it's very nice when you already have an arrow that allows you to recycle or get an extra card. And so he's going to hit the circle. So unfortunately, doesn't hit the Rage, but he did discard a Nightmare as well.
Yeah.
So he has Nightmare and Harp.
A rough 50-50.
Oscar's going to go ahead and search another copy of Jack Jaguar.
So the issue here for Oscar is that with a copy of Harp Horror in the graveyard alongside a Nightmare Orcust, there's not really a fantastic Rage to be had. You know, maybe you can pop the Galatée. I don't really know what would be the optimal way to play out the remainder of this turn. I'm sure Oscar is much more experienced in this measure than I am.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and banish the Harp to summon the Skeleton.
Right. And that's all the Orcust monsters you could ever hope to see.
It gives us Galatea access here, so I imagine that's where he's going to go. He could go for Longyearsu as well.
Longyearsu here is not terrible, but it means that you're likely not going to have recursive Galatea, so I think you probably want to be using it.
Yeah, but it is an option. So Galatea is going to come down. Looks like he's going to banish the Nightmare now. He's going to send Imagine Wand, which it looks like he did. Wand can then get banished to bring back any of the other Orcusts. And slowly but surely, we're going to try to see Ramiro pick apart this board here. The Rage is obviously still a tough one.
Yeah. So if we use the Wand right now, Rage is really, really good. But I don't think it's likely Ramiro is going to do that. He's thumbing through the hand. Another card, like an additional special summon, would really serve the board a lot better. Looks like he is going to go for the Wand, and Oscar's got to be happy to see that.
One thing I just want to say, too, both these players are X1. At the moment, we're in round 5. That's just, and like 2 of these, players of this caliber are playing against each other. This has been happening all day.
Right.
So it's crazy that 2 very skilled players only at X1. But a lot of people came out to this tournament. I think it was 198 was the final total. So big shout out to you guys. Here comes a Longyearsu.
Now this is kind of a problem. Longyearsu is able to send cards to the graveyard that are linked, and you'll notice that basically the entire board is linked at this point.
Oscar's going to take a quick read here while Symbol Skeleton summons back Galatea.
I think now is probably the time for Rage. Though I don't, necessarily know what Oscar has up his sleeve. You would maybe respond to the effect of Longyearsu. So if you lead with Galatea, that's the punish, but is also probably okay. It means that the entire banish zone is going to be depleted as well.
Now Oscar could be waiting for the Rage to pop the Babel as well.
That would be cute.
Yeah, so Babel's going to get flipped, so it's there for now. And there's the Rage. So we're going to target the Sunlight Wolf. That means that Oscar's going to be able to pop 2 cards here.
So, of course, we're going to see the Babel. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to destroy this copy of Longyearsu because it can't be destroyed while linked.
Correct. So Longyearsu will stay, and now Longyearsu will be able to send either the Jack Jaguar it's pointing to or the Phantasme that Sunlight Wolf is pointing to.
I think that you're pretty happy to be in Romero's seat right now. But, I mean, Oscar's got a completely full graveyard. He's got a Gazelle in hand, a Circle in hand. I mean, if he survives until the next turn, things are looking exceptionally good for him.
So here comes Longyearsu. We're going to shuffle 2 of those machines back into the deck. We're going to see if Oscar has a response here. Doesn't look like it. Both these players still have full grips.
Yeah.
And now Ramiro's recycling resources. So Phantasme gets sent.
This is rough. It's a position you really don't want to be in. Are we attacking into the monster that's currently giving my monster protection? Are we attacking into a monster that we'll just banish a Balinx for?
There's a Shark Cannon.
Oh, okay. Well.
Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and banish the Spinny. And now we get to engage for the extra draw as well. Again, this is why
the reservation on that.
This is what I was telling you about how powerful this deck is. Just being able to see Oscar's board was very formidable to start off, and then all of a sudden, here we are. Ramiro's just slowly breaking it apart piece by piece. He's going to grab Widow Anchor now.
Yep. So Widow Anchor is a particularly easy out for a board that otherwise would be immune to several pieces of destruction as a result of the Graved Balinks.
Ramiro going to grab the draw off that engage, finishing the resolution of the effect.
Wow.
Thing is, though, even if Ramiro can't kill here, Oscar's going to have a lot of cards to be able to fight back with when it's his turn.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's going to be some back and forth here unless Ramiro can find a line that he can just end the game right here and now. Gazelle is still in Oscar's hand, so that's another line of defense if he so needs it to be.
Now there's Ding.
Yep, so Ding can go ahead and send the Sunlight Wolf to the grave.
And now we have a Jack Jaguar with a little bit of protection and a Gazelle in hand.
So here comes Gazelle. Oscar's going to go ahead and play that out now. And it looks like that's going to go ahead and resolve. Gazelle's going to send another Salamangreat to the grave. You might just send another... I was going to send Will.
I like Will.
Okay, I like this.
So we've got a Falco in the graveyard. We have a couple of ways to recur Will as well. I think that we are likely to see an end to the game if Oscar isn't defeated on this turn. And Ramiro fans out his hand. Yeah, there's 5 cards in there.
Yep. So we're going to
see. Balinks.
I think it was an attack declaration, so we're going to see 800 come off of Oscar's life, but the Balinks is going to protect it. And we're going to see set 2 Ramiro, and Oscar's turn rolls around.
In the pendulum zones, no less.
Another Buffalo.
Sometimes you draw one every turn. Well, when it comes to normal summons, that's a pretty good one. Now, unfortunately, you can't chain block here, but still probably fine.
We're going to call by the grave the Buffalo. That works just as well.
So you're a Salamangreat player. What do you do from here?
It's tough. I mean, he has a second Jaguar in hand. He has the Falco, so he could possibly have gotten back Gazelle that way and just had a way to resummon it to get an extra monster. We're going to see Phoenix, though, to take care of the other back row.
Wow, just playing no games here today. And, oh, wait, is that a Foxy in graveyard? Well.
So that gives him a lot of options now because that gives him another monster because we already know he has the Jack Jaguar in hand, so we can pitch that to get one monster.
Oh, and notably Dingirsu detached for that. Whatever it is, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Ramiro really wants to keep that card. Again, Dingirsu just showing his dominance and why it's one of the best cards of the format, if not like the best card of 2019.
Thank you, chat. The Buffalo was the add back after the Phantasme summon.
Oscar's taking a quick look at the graveyard there.
Yeah, there's a lot, but without Babel, this deck is much easier to contend with.
So we're going to see the effect of Foxy. He's going to pitch a Spinny. That seems pretty good. So now Foxy comes out.
And because that destruction effect is optional, I think we will elect to keep the Salamangreat's Sanctuary. Are we seeing a...
Heat Leo?
Yep.
Okay, so that will make the Dingirsu 0.
It's nice, but... Ooh, there's the Widow
so
Anchor.
there's an Anchor. We knew Ramiro had this.
All right, so from here we should be able to pop off. Let's fan out the graveyard real quick because that's where we're going to be playing from for the rest of the turn. Now, we haven't summoned a Jack Jaguar this turn, have we?
Correct, we have not.
We have Spinny at our disposal, too. Yep. There's a Falco in there.
So we're going to start with the Spinny. We have normal summon, though. So now we're going to see this get linked off.
This is a little crusty.
Go for maybe Sunlight Wolf?
Yep, seems good.
And then now it looks like he's going to go ahead and use Jack Jaguar, recycle a Sunlight Wolf, so then he can reincarnation summon the one he already has.
And add back the Gazelle, most likely.
I think that's the prime candidate here. Yes, looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can reincarnation link summon. You can get Will back off of the Sunlight Wolf from its second effect. And then
likely that's what we're going to see.
You could possibly use that effect crack for 2. But then where you go from there? The difficulty is like establishing the win condition for Salamangreat sometimes, because sometimes they're playing like the Transcode Talker package. Sometimes they're playing there's so many different types of extra deck variants that can essentially lead to an OTK. And
what do you think about potentially getting back the Falco here? and then overlaying for like an Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, and I think that's actually pretty good because now you can essentially lock Ramiro out of really using the graveyard and setting it in for next turn. You're going to get the Heat Leo back.
Well, we don't have a way to out the Ding, but it's not that big of a deal. The Ding can only destroy one of them, and we have a Balings in graveyard, so in draw step, he's going to go ahead and activate Abyss Dweller, which is a very powerful card, provided your opponent doesn't have a Babel on their side of the field.
And because Falco is detached, he also gets to set the Rage.
Does Babel activate in graveyard?
So you can discard a card to add Babel back to your hand.
Oh, if that's an activation,
but
oh my goodness. If Abyss Dweller turns off Babel, I've never had to run into this scenario.
This is a very good setup from Oscar, though. Ramiro just making sure that the banished cards are all together.
To chat, we'd already performed a normal summon. It'd be hard to bring Falco back without, you know, a monster.
Yeah, and so Will's really his only way to do that. And now Dweller might just lock this game one up here.
Ramiro looking at the graveyard real quick. Yeah,
And that's
going to do it.
All right, so game one. That was pretty convincing for me.
The grand tournament of the series is upon us as Season 2 comes to a close with the Pro Play Tour Invitational, where players will be playing for $25,000 in cash and prizes. Still not qualified? Last chance qualifiers will occur on day 1 of our 3-day event and will fire every 8 players, awarding a box in prizing and invites. Be ready to play a few, because LCQs are only $10. Saturday is day 1 of the main event with a top competitor playoff following on Sunday. Stick around for day 3, where we will have team events as well as a variety of side events. For more information, visit ppgeventmanagement.com and come play with the pros.
I love they're both smiling, though. They're just having some good conversation, you know. They're obviously both very competitive players, but they're still having fun with it at the same time.
Good players playing good decks.
All right, so let's see what happens. Oh, Mathematician, that's a good start.
Oh, that's a good rarity.
And there's an Ash. There's Call By. Okay.
Yeah, well,
resolve.
Sometimes everyone has everything. I do like Ash on Mathematician, despite the fact that, you know, Harp Horror is routinely the target of choice. It just ends the turn sometimes, which means that you don't have to contend with extenders even a little bit.
So now we're going to get to see Ramiro essentially do the full combo here, I imagine.
All right, there's Nightmare.
Which, again, this combo isn't like the end-all, be-all. It's definitely breakable, just as we saw that Oscar's board was breakable as well. But he's definitely going to be set up quite well. He's going to have the Babel. He's going to have just a lot of things for Oscar to contend with. So we're going to banish Nightmare. We're going to send the Wand. Ash will be turned off. If Oscar had a Phantasme, that would be useful. But
so we're going to go into the Wand here. We're going to use it in order to bring back a copy of Nightmare. You've probably seen this combo a couple of times this weekend.
This is the bread and butter Orcust combo for sure.
Chat talking about Bombard. Never change. Frustrating that the next iteration of playable Orcust after the Mermaid ban was Sky Striker Orcust and not Triple Brass Bombard.
Well, it's really funny because a lot of people there's a few select people that were on the Triple Brass Bombard hype train.
Oh, we saw a lot of them at PPG Columbus and
yeah, I believe it was Justin Singh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we see any at Dallas? I don't think so.
We just had Mr. Stephen Brass Bronder.
The Bombard was in their heart.
Yes, it was in their heart. But
Masquerena Pass
and the Biru.
There's the boy.
On the Masquerena. Okay, so
enjoy your token, your 800 attack token.
And that is one of the downsides of the Sky Striker Orcust deck. Well, I mean, that was just a standard Orcust combo. But
yeah,
I think
it just ended on a very Nibiru-able card.
But more in particular, the Sky Striker variant is more susceptible than Nibiru because you get the extra summons from the Kagari and the drones.
Yeah.
So you're much more likely to fall and just have this card just utterly end you. And now we get Buffalo
into Balinks.
And
you've seen this
good.
combo as well.
Yeah.
There's not even an Ash Blossom available from Ramiro because it's still stuck under Called by the Grave. I mean, wow. I would be hard-pressed to imagine a scenario where this doesn't end in an OTK of some sort.
We'll have to see.
It does depend a lot on Oscar's extra deck, I assume.
One of Salamangreat's weaknesses is that damage is on its strong suit, but Nibiru has a very high attack power that I think exceeds the threshold that makes it very easy for Salamangreat decks to OTK. So assuming he just has like a basic Spinny Gazelle combo, I believe it's possible to OTK.
So are we going to see Nibiru into a Nibiru? It's very possible it came in from, from Ramiro's extra deck.
And that's the biggest thing that Oscar has to worry about at this point. If there's any card that's going to ruin this this plan for Oscar, it's going to be Nibiru.
All right, there's Jack Jaguar. That is number 3. Chat, you got to call it for us.
It is number 3. Get that PPG YuGiOh Nibiru.
Yeah. If any of you are subscribed to PPG YuGiOh's Twitch channel, you can use the emote that's currently being spammed in chat.
So we're going to see Ramiro use the Symbol Skeleton to resummon the Dingirsu. That's going to send the Nibiru token away. I really like this because, like I said, Nibiru is what allows you to exceed that threshold to be able to OTK when it comes to Salamangreat. So obviously it's the biggest monster on the field in addition to that. But
a very late Cynet mining. Ramiro says, yep.
That takes discipline to hold that back till this point specifically.
Yeah. It's not like you have to contend with Ash Blossom, but still want to get your opponent's disruption out of the way before you go for a high-impact play like this Gazelle.
Well, no, that's very heads up because Ramiro might not have opted to use the Symbol Skeleton when he did, knowing that Signing Mining might not have been in the hand. This is what I was saying. These players are both very strong, and we might be able to see Oscar be able to take control of this duel now. Ramiro still has 3 cards in hand, so it's not the end of the world. And like we said, Nibiru can just be the end of it.
Oh, here we go. And he says, no, wait. No shortcutting yet. Probably a bad idea when your opponent could potentially be Nibiruing. We're going to go for the spinny here, bring it back, and do you have it? No.
Well, he doesn't have to use it yet, to be fair.
So here we go into Mirage Stalio. We activate the effect of Mirage Stalio, and then we're able to bounce one of our opponent's cards, probably the Dingirsu.
We're going to detach. We're going to go ahead and get a summon here.
Ramiro just looking at his hand.
Nothing in response. Now, he already has Jack Jaguar. He already has Spinny, Gazelle. He could go for Falco or Foxy, I think, are the most likely candidates.
Ooh, chat's right. Nibiru's light is actually completely locked from it.
Oh, because he used the Orcust.
That's correct.
Summon, yeah. So Nibiru is actually not even a concern at this point.
I'm just generally assume that every good card is dark type. That just seems to be how it goes. I love being proven wrong about it.
Now from here, Oscar could be just finding another way to clean up the board, establish another Dweller, and then just like in Game 1, that could just lock it up. This is one of the reasons why you see people gravitating towards Salamangreat, because it has the ability to make Dweller at relative ease, just because of the level 4s being Falco and Jaguar, and we might see that again here.
Well, first we're going to go to combat and eat that completely useless token. Now, this Dweller is a little less good because that Babel isn't in the graveyard. And unfortunately, also is less good because it's not making it onto the field. Okay, well, we have a Roar set at least, which is something.
So now,
we were just talking about him, and here he is.
So Ramiro is on the brass. He could just be playing the 1, to be fair.
I like to think that he's playing all 3. I know it's probably not true, but it warms my heart.
Now, Oscar still has a pretty decent setup here. Again, he has the Roar. Falco can actually recur the Roar if he roars early enough. We're going to link off the brass for a Link Karibo.
Yeah.
Looks like it. They can banish the brass to get a Orcust out of your hand, and that gives you the Orcust combo. Looks like he has a Symbol Skeleton stuck in there.
What happens if you negate the... No. I'm thinking out loud, and it's not very good. So, like, this is a pretty good line from Ramiro, but how does it contend with a Roar? You know?
I mean, Roar is, that's just one interruption. So it's not the end of the world.
But if it comes at a critical time, it could pretty easily end the turn. Ooh.
So we're going to summon the Harp off of the banishing of brass?
No, that's a little different.
Or is that a normal summon?
That was a normal summon.
Okay, so that was a normal summon.
So now we go into Galate. God, I want a Roar here, but it's not very good. I guess if there is not another way to get a free summon out of the hand, it is quite strong. Oh, is he going for Phoenix?
Phoenix to force
Wow.
the roar here.
Hey,
I
sometimes
like
you got to
this.
do it. And it gets that skeleton out of that grip.
But this is good because we know he has Skeleton, and then Harp can just bring something out of the deck. So, like, I mean, he pretty much he's forced a roar here.
Which is fine. All right, so now
And
we
now
can
he
activate
gets-
Engage.
Now he can go for Engage. Now,
Thankfully, it is not for
drones.
4-2.
Yeah. It won't be for 2. Oh, he's going for the drones. Okay. So he's going to go ahead and drones. He has not used any Orcust effects this turn as of yet. So that was a normal summon of the Harp, just to confirm that. We're going to go Kagari. Kagari can recur. We're going to see Phantasme come down. So it's going to give Oscar a couple cards here to possibly fend off this counter assault here from Miro.
I feel pretty good if I'm in Oscar's position. You know, I've got protection for my Salamangreat. I'm about to add this Mirage Stalio, apparently, back to my extra deck. And I'm sitting on a Phantasme versus the deck that aims to make a ding this turn.
This is a really good back and forth. I'm liking this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, chat. If it's face down, it's not Salamangreat Roar.
So now we're going to see Harp activated. So Ramiro is going to be locked into Darks. So now he can go ahead and bring out a Nightmare. He already has Symbol in Grave. He also has Brass in Grave, if that's relevant.
Oh, why wouldn't it be?
So now we're going to go with Galatea here. Oscar, out of known interruptions, there could still be some in the hand. We'll just have to see. We know he's playing Nibiru, so we could see another one.
The Nibiru into Nibiru would be pretty heads up. This is not a very good board to Nibiru, unfortunately.
So we're going to go ahead and shuffle back the wand with Galatea after it resurrected a Nightmare. Now we're going to go ahead and set Return. Mira's looking to dig for some more cards here.
This is the incredibly powerful part of the Sky Striker Orcust build specifically. It's able to draw like maybe 8 cards a turn just by virtue of firing engages and firing returns.
Absolutely. And Allure of Darkness, which typically gets sided out in games 2 and 3 just because of Lancia. However, I mean, just being able to have that access to that much draw power in a Tier 1 deck like this, you know, you can't, it's hard to beat.
All right. Are we getting long? Now, long is so good in this particular scenario. This is the second time that Ramiro has had to navigate it because it's an easy way to get Phantasme off the field without targeting it.
Correct, because it just sends.
It sends, it doesn't target. There's no window for response.
And now here comes Engage with 3 spells engraved now.
Yep, and there it is.
So now we're going to be able to get something like Widow Anchor. He also gets to draw an additional card. Anchor can just steal anything he wishes.
And let's rip something off the top.
We're going to see if Ramiro can possibly set up an OTK here. I'm not sure, but at the very least, he'll be able to establish himself very well. He's going to shuffle back 2 of his machines to go ahead and send that Phantasme away to the graveyard.
The next step is fanning out your graveyard and seeing how much you're able to play with. If you're Oscar, are you already thinking about Game 3, or are you still in this one? I think there's scenarios in which you're still able to play, but they are getting fewer and fewer as Ramiro extends further and further.
Yeah, I don't think it's over necessarily. Remember, Salamangreat still has a lot of resources at disposal in the graveyard as well, but I think it's getting less and less hopeful the longer this progresses and the more Ramiro's just allowed to establish himself.
Right.
So Galatea gets brought back off the Symbol Skeleton. Now we're going to see Dingirsu come down.
And Dingirsu, of course, is a very easy way to get rid of a potential Salamangreat threat, even with the Balings on the field.
So he's going to go ahead and send the Sunlight Wolf, just as you alluded to. We're going to attack over the Falco. There's a Nibiru before he goes into the battle phase.
Unbelievable.
Again.
Nibiru into Nibiru. How does he do it?
Wow.
At the very least, this token's very big.
Yes, it is very big. Falco is going to trigger and get the Roar back.
Ooh. Well, now this is a completely different game.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've already activated almost everything from the Orcust player's perspective. We've done Harp. I think the only things we have remaining are Wand and Brass Bombard.
Now, Ramiro does have Babble up, so he's able to essentially play on Oscar's turn.
Right.
So it's by no means over.
But wow, that's a swing.
The double Nibiru, yeah. You can see, like, Ramiro just with the visible frustration from that.
I mean, if you get Nibiru'd once, I think you're expecting it. You go, yeah, I'm playing the deck that's bad against a Nibiru. The second Nibiru, oh, you've got to be raging.
For sure.
I
Absolutely.
would be.
I think Oscar picked up a Will of the Salamangreat for turn.
Are you kidding me?
That's really good. So normal summon of Spinny.
Says, fine, of course. Going to Balinks here. Now, this is problematic for Ramiro because we are getting to a position where Oscar could very easily take a 10-minute turn.
Very much so. I think what Oscar has to worry about first is taking care of Babel to limit Ramiro's options if he wants to try to take this game. But we're going to go ahead and see a Salamangreat Circle, or excuse me, a Salamangreat Spinny, which is going to trigger the Sea Archiver.
And from here, we can basically do anything. Getting rid of the Babel is so important, though. If he fails to do so, Ramiro's got about 3 minutes of play on this turn and 5 on his own, which forces a tie. It's not pretty, but it also is better than losing.
Ramiro just taking a quick read of the grave.
Yeah, there's a ton he's going to be able to work with. You have to start thinking about what you're going to be summoning off of Babel now, and you have to be doing it very quickly.
And Oscar just has a lot going on in his graveyard as well. Both these decks are just very graveyard-centric decks. And now we're going to see Ramiro make his move here. We're going to see an activation of Nightmare targeting the Nibiru token that is on Ramiro's field.
Broken. That thing's going to have even more attack.
Oh, and there's a
Nibiru
of his own. So this is great. This is one of the tricks from...
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
He's looking at the graveyard real quick. What's going on?
Wait,
I think it's just being roared.
Oh, is it being so we roared the Nibiru. Okay.
All right. And now,
so
of course, since we
fine.
don't have to contend with Roar,
Sure.
we can bring back Dingirsu.
Right. So he's going to go ahead and skeleton back the Dingirsu. Roar was able to negate Nibiru.
I like this. So I like the scenario in which Ramiro understands that Nibiru is the second most powerful card at his disposal. It's like, yeah, of course this is broken. But you know what's more broken? Playing my deck as intended and getting myself a Dingirsu.
I'm curious if there could have been an argument to be made.
For just waiting even longer?
No, I was thinking if you... oh, well, you can't, so never mind. That would not be... I was thinking if there was a way to try to bait Roar prior, but then you're locked into Dark, so then you can't even summon Nibiru, so that wouldn't work.
Well, shame we had to return this copy of Jaguar, because we've already used our normal summon, and otherwise this would be a fantastic opportunity for a specific rank 4. Unfortunately, I think Oscar might actually be dead to the token. How big is the token?
The token is...
It's Longirsu, Dingirsu, and Phantasme?
No, Phantasme was sent. There was a Falco, I think?
Yeah, so Falco, Longirsu, Dingirsu, and maybe some ads?
26, 25, 50. So 6,300 attack on the token.
That's a big boy.
Maybe Ramiro's just hoping to protect that token as best he can so that he can just kill Oscar when his turn rolls back around.
It's also got more than 3,000 defense, so you're going to have to find an out that isn't my own Nibiru.
Yeah, and Mirage Stallion was one of those ways. So that could have been very possible that Ramiro's really just trying to protect this token. But there's the will.
All right. Well, from here we should be able to do some really degenerate stuff. And we are popping it. So let's bring back this copy of Gazelle first. And then second, let's bring back, what do you want?
I mean, he never activated Mirage Stallion, right?
He didn't.
So that is an option. Oh, he's going to actually bring back the Mirage. He's just going to use it as link material.
I like it a lot.
I like it. Yeah.
It's a way to get rid of either the token or Dingirsu, whichever you think is more impactful. And then at the very least, you can do damage to your opponent. You're also going to be able to force the issue by using this Foxy's Graveyard effect that you've sent off of Gazelle to target this Babel. Provided you've got the material in hand, which of course we know you do because you're about to activate the effect of Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. Wow, this is so heads up.
Sunlight Wolf is going to recur that will, and now he can easily get that Foxy onto the field if he so wishes.
Chat's right. Stalio's bounce effect only occurs if it's been summoned.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, he's still got plenty of lines here that he can take. It looks like we're going to see Ramiro immediately start digging into his grave to get all the value out of his Orcust cards that he can because the Babel is about to get destroyed, and he summons this Foxy by pitching a copy of Jaguar from the looks of it.
All right, we'll shuffle that sucker up, and let's start attacking. So we can...
You can still... You can... could you you could just still make a normal Mirage Stallion.
Yeah, that seems okay, I suppose.
Well, to get rid of the token.
Yeah. So you do that. Then you have an easy way to do like maybe 1,800 damage to your opponent.
Sure.
I don't think it's very likely they're going to be able to get into a good battle phase with so many activations. Let's look at the Banish Zone real quick. It is chock full. All right, let's thumb over to the extra deck. What do you think's coming out? Oh, chat says Pyro Phoenix. I don't know about that. If he's playing Pyro Phoenix, it's pretty good here. I just don't think that's likely.
There's a link too. He isn't committed into Mirage Stallion.
Is he going for like Phoenix or something and then going to make a co-link play? I have no idea.
I mean, he can't. There's nothing to pop.
Exactly.
So that's not going to happen.
Ready? Update Jammer.
It's possible.
I mean, it does happen.
That's a card that some Salamangreat players still opt to play.
Oh,
it is!
It is Update Jammer! So he's going to link these two instead for Update Jammer.
Okay.
And then afterwards, the monster that Update Jammer is sent as link material for is going to get 2 attacks. So you could, I don't know, use the Nibiru token of the Mirage Stallion and the Update Jammer to make a Boral Load Dragon, steal your opponent's board. Oh, but that still doesn't do it. Then you're missing any damage at all. You still need a way to attack them.
Going to go for a link 3 here. Going to go transcode?
Oh,
no, just
YuGiOh it
YuGiOh.
is.
Okay.
This is pretty frustrating. Oh, no. It looks like he's trying to activate Mirage Stallion's effect.
Oh, to bounce?
Oh,
Are they pulling out
no.
a translation? Ooh.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But Mirage Stallion only gets its effect if it's been Xyz summoned.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a bit of a misstep there from Oscar. It's okay. I mean, I made the same mistake.
Me
so,
too. Chat
yeah.
ahead as always.
Yeah. And that could definitely...
That looks like it might actually be it. Without the ability to play through the remainder of this board, he's just going to get attacked by the token and a tie will be forced.
Well, there is still 3 minutes in the round, so it's very possible that if Oscar wants to concede to try to force a game 3...
Oh, with 3 minutes left, you can take all of your time siding for sure.
Fair.
What would Salamangreat play that does damage in burn?
Pyro Phoenix.
If he makes it there, he's got it. Ugh, and passing with an Update Jammer up. I'm so sorry. Ramiro, just switch it to attack position. What's he going to do?
It's also rough, too, because both these players are already X1.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, they'll get a draw, but...
At this point, it is... No, it's still much better than a loss. They'll top over any X2, but it means they're now in win-out.
Which, to be fair, it's round 5.
Yeah.
So there's not, too many games left.
You just got to do 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Mathematician.
And, yeah, it's crazy. Now that these players have taken damage this entire game, too.
Yeah.
So Ramiro just easily needs to turn that token to attack and just do some amount of damage. But he's going to try to, do the best he can.
Taking time to do so is
of course.
Correct. Salamangreat Pero for life gain, they say. Ooh, smart.
So now we're going to see Symbol Skeleton resurrect the Dingirsu. Oh,
Man,
potentially.
I think he's talking about Update Jammer real quick.
Okay.
Update Jammer, of course, is kind of a problem card. It does have effect text on it, but I think it's not a big deal. Looks like we're sending Crescendo to the graveyard to get back Babel.
And we'll have all of his Orcust cards being a quick effect speed. Then you get to banish the Crescendo. That's a really sick play. I like that.
Yeah.
Get an Orcust monster into your hand. Oh, no, it's a Dark Machine. Excuse me. It searches Dark Machines, which Gizmek just so happens to fit the bill.
So if something happens to this token, Gizmek is next. We've got a lot of ways to deal damage to this Update Jammer.
And I think Ramiro's wanting to look at the text of Update Jammer. So Oscar's
just seeing if there's any way that he's going to be able to be stonewalled from this attack step. This is the only way he loses from this position.
Ramiro is locked into Dark Machines.
Oh, he's pulling up a translation of Update Jammer. I think they're talking with the judge, who is giving them a little bit of time to do so.
Yeah, so the judge is right next to them. And there's the translation for Update Jammer right there.
All right.
Games have been lost because Update Jammer was not properly read.
That is true. So, chat, this time is going to be just a little bit low. Keep in mind that it's very likely that Ramiro is going to make it to battle phase, and then time will be immediately called.
Here comes Gizmek.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Gizmek time. We will Salamangreat Roar.
Yep. So Gizmek will be banished.
Or sent to the graveyard.
Or sent to the graveyard, excuse me.
And
it's
now let's go to battle phase, I expect.
Yep. Let's go battle phase, attack, do the damage, and then life points are higher. So that token is big. We said it's 63.
Okay. So we're now going to have to discuss how Update Jammer works.
Yes.
Update Jammer's exact text is, once per battle, if your Cyberse monster battles during damage calculation, you can negate all card effects on the field other than this card's until the end of the damage step. Damage calculation for this battle uses each monster's original attack and defense, and if the opponent's monster is destroyed by that battle and sent to the graveyard, they take 1,000 damage. So the question they're trying to resolve is, what is the original attack of the token? And it looks like they're looking at the graveyard real quick.
I'm not sure.
We're going to have to go find out.
Yeah. Is its original attack 0?
If its original attack is 0, then Ramiro has just lost the set. If its original attack is the attack that it had when it was summoned, then it is a draw. Well, almost all of chat is saying 0, and when have they been wrong?
Well, let's think, because the token gains the attack of all the monsters it tributes.
Well, let's read Nibiru specifically.
I'm not sure if they're... Because the cards are still out, so apparently they're trying to figure out the ruling.
Yeah. So Nibiru says, you can special summon this card from your hand, then special a Primal Being token, Rock Light level, attack, question, defense, question. This token's attack and defense become the combined original attack and defense of the tributed monsters.
So its attacks become the original attack and defense, but that's not its original attack?
Chat is right here. Tokens operate differently than other cards that have this same line of text.
This is so fitting that this is the end to this game, because like this game has been like just wild.
An unbelievable back and forth that ends because of a discussion about the originality of an attack.
So with the original attack, because again, like it's Nibiru's the token's attack it doesn't say the token original attack becomes the attack. So because
and it looks like something's happened. They've shaken hands, so the game is over.
Okay.
Tell you what, why don't you give me 15 seconds and I'll go figure out the outcome.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. I'm really curious to see where this went. I'm thinking it might be because since, and I think a couple of you actually pointed it out in chat already, since the token has an original attack, quote unquote, of question mark, that its original attack would become like 0. Because like its original attack as a token is the question mark, not the attack that it gained from the Nibiru effect. Joseph is back, so he's going to be able to... let's go ahead and go to the main cam here and tell us what happened.
It was a tie.
It was a tie?
It was a tie.
Okay.
They actually talked about it a little bit, and I am not sure the scenario that led to this, but the Salamangreat player conceded.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't as the result of the ruling. It was just in an effort to expedite the process, and because he felt as if several particular time scenarios caused by his translations had potentially ruined things, it would be in his best interest to concede and just be like, listen, clearly you were going to win this game.
Wow. Talk about sportsmanship, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would never have done that personally. A much better person than me.
Okay, so a concession from Oscar meant that they both drew, so they're both X1-1 now going into round 6. So
yep.
They still have a ways to go. They can't they can't drop another game, I imagine.
Yeah.
But
although to be fair, a loss at this point would mean the same thing and wouldn't guarantee them a space in top. The one advantage this has over a loss is that it functions effectively as a win. If they win out, they're guaranteed, as they would been if they had won. And if they had lost, they wouldn't even been guaranteed a spot if they go X2.
Absolutely. So I mean, but that was just an incredible match.
Yeah,
I mean,
just incredible.
The back and forth, the heads-up play from both players. That was. I had this feeling when I picked that it was going to be something special, and I'm glad that I was not wrong. Both those players easily could make top cut at this event, and
for sure.
Maybe we'll see them. So, guys, that's going to do it for round 5 of Pro Play Tour Las Vegas. We're going to be back really soon because that was in time, and we go very quickly thanks to our Best Coast Pairings app because we can just immediately get into round 6. So don't go too far. We will be back very soon.
Still looking to earn your invite to the $10,000 cash prize Pro Play Tour YuGiOh Invitational on January 24th through 26th in Orlando, Florida? Well, why not attend a Pro Play Tour qualifier at your local game store? Participating stores can host PPT qualifiers with their official Pro Play Tour Store Challenge Kit. Interested in hosting a PPT qualifier of your own? Visit ppgeventmanagement.com to learn how your local game store can qualify to host Pro Play Tour qualifiers today.